Hello, America. This is Chief, your favorite homeboy, coming at you once again. This time, I'd like to talk about, it's very important that we keep in mind the school massacres that have happened way back since 1999, all the way up until May of 2022. May I remind you that we've lost over 153 students and staff members to these shooters on school, people who thought they were safe. And we've also had 114 kids and staff members injured due to those shootings. So it's very important that we don't forget. We don't ever forget. We cannot afford another life, not one more kid, not one more family going through the pain. What you see on your screen now are the little angels from Sandy Hook and their staffers. They're all in heaven now. We know that. They would have been, 15, 16, 17 years now? Perhaps getting ready to start high school. All these deaths could have been avoided. And no matter what people say or do, there is one party, the Republican Party, who refuses to make the changes, make the laws that are needed to keep kids in their schools, their teachers, the staffers, to keep them safe. It seems like they would rather send you their thoughts and prayers, because that's all you hear now. Every time there's a school massacre, and if it's a Republican on camera, our thoughts and prayers to the families of the victims. That's all you get. Maybe a few false promises. Oh, yes, we're going to work on something. And once the subject cools off a little bit, they just don't answer any more questions about it. When is enough enough? I ask you this because I'll remind you again, we have an election, a midterm, coming up soon. And America needs your votes. This isn't about Republican versus Democrat versus independent. We already know where the Democrats and the independents start. They want laws to protect the kids. Real laws, not just little cover-up things. Real laws. Something, at least put an age limit on buying a weapon of war. 21? It's a fair number to me. It's the drinking age limit in many states, 21. Want to buy a beer? Where's your ID? You got to be 21. As it stands now, you can't go buy a beer or liquor, but you sure as hell can go out and buy a weapon of war. So somebody turns 18, whatever is going on in their minds, they go out and buy a weapon. They turn around and kill their grandma or their grandparents, their mom, and then they head on to a local school and do their massacre. Some of them off themselves, others have the guts to kill innocent little children and their staffers, but they don't have the guts to aim the gun at themselves. But yet, the Republican Party, they want nothing to do with any type of gun changes at all. I watch the news channels. I listen to their polls, and they say that over 70% of gun owners are in favor of these changes. Right? So you would think, well, what's the problem? Let's get her done, right? Change it. Nope. They don't do it. But yet, they claim to be the party of pro-life. I'll say that again. They claim to be the party, the Republicans do, the party of pro-life. Perhaps when it's convenient, they're pro-life as long as they're going to interfere with women and tell them what to do with their bodies, what they can and cannot do. Then they're all pro-life, according to them. What about the lives that are already here? The kids, they're in school. They go there to learn. We trust the system. We trust you guys. You were elected for a reason, and that's to put the people first. Right? Not the party, not the companies you represent, the checks they give you guys for your campaigns, or who the hell knows what else for. You know what else you get out of it, if anything. I don't know. But if there's nothing in it for you, then what's the hesitation? What is the hesitation? It's a vote. How hard can it be to throw a yay? All in favor of a gun change. Yay. Senator so-and-so. Yay. Senator so-and-so. Yay. How hard can that be? Putting America and its children first. How hard can that be? Apparently, to all you bastards, it's very hard. Because you haven't done anything about it. And yet, all these families are suffering. Don't you think for a minute that after a couple of years go by, that it's all forgotten? Anybody knows, anybody who's lost a kid, knows the pain. It never goes away. We just learned to live with it, to deal with it, but it doesn't go away. I lost my 5-year-old daughter to a brain tumor. Her name was Sophie in 2001. There isn't a day that goes by when I don't think about her, my little angel. I feel the pain of all you parents that have lost your kids. You didn't get the chance to give them a goodbye hug, because if that was to be a goodbye hug, guess what? You wouldn't let go. You'd still be hugging them right now. And that is the truth. No parent will ever willingly put their children in danger. We trust the politicians, and they're not coming through. The Republican Party politicians are not coming through. For whatever reason, they won't give up the vote. And there are 2 Democrats whom I believe also back off on that vote. Sinema and Manchin. Yeah. They say they're Democrats, but when it comes to giving the vote on this issue, they haven't come through. At least not that I know of. If I'm wrong, correct me. If I'm wrong, I apologize. I don't want to bring anybody down. I don't want to mislead people with anything. Talking about lies. That's not what I stand here for today. If I had it my way, I wouldn't even be in front of this camera. But you know what? Enough is enough. How many more kids gotta die before somebody steps up and does the right thing? How many years, how many elections have gone by since 1999 where if the politicians weren't voting for a law to protect the kids when it comes to guns, how many elections have they been giving a pass? And by that I mean people still vote for these guys or ladies in the Senate, in Congress. How many times? So my next question is, all this blood, all this bloodshed, is it in their hands? I would feel guilty as hell if I was still voting Republican and the killings are still happening when I know that my vote helped put them there. Hey, it doesn't sound good. You don't want to hear that, and I'm sorry. But that's how it is. You can't just walk away from that. We all have to take responsibility, and voting is a responsibility. If you're putting your party in front of kids' safety, in front of your country, then you're wrong. You have an opportunity. We have an election coming up. You can make those wrongs into a right. We can't save the kids from the past, from those massacres, but we can try to save the next ones. Because if you think that you've seen the last of these shootings, I don't believe we have. As much as I hate to say it, I wish I would die first before the next one happened. If it could be me instead of any of those kids, I would gladly take that trade. And I'm not just saying it just to talk. No, it's from the heart. It's true. I'm an older buzzard already. Let the kids live. I would gladly do whatever I needed to do if those kids could live. So, everybody has an opportunity. There's a vote coming up. And if you're putting your party before your country, if you're putting your party before your kids, shame on you. Because that's not what your country needs from you right now. I understand. I get it. Many people were born bleeding Republican red. Their whole families brought up Republican red. I get that. But you gotta be smart. If your party becomes corrupt, don't be corrupted by it. Walk away. Do the right thing. Make the changes. Vote them out of power. Reclaim your party. There have been many members that have left the party. Cheney, Kinzinger, many others. Many people are disowning the party, what it represents. Where are the values? If you're voting Republican now, look at the kids on the screen. That is the price you're paying for the Republican Party to stay in power. Look at the kids. Look at those little angels. You gotta dig deep. I know your values are better. It's not too late to act for the next ones, on behalf of the next ones. I don't even want you to go there. What if it was one of your kids and you voted Republican? What if it's a kid of someone you love? Maybe a neighbor? Maybe a cousin's kid? Some sort of relative, some long-distance friend? What if it's one of their kids? Are you going to have the guts to tell them with pride, yeah, I voted Republican? When all these issues were at hand, I still voted for them. Even though they're acting like fascists, they don't care about women making their own decisions when it comes to their bodies. We'll get to that on a different clip. But where is the morals? Where are the values? How much pride can you take by saying, yeah, I voted Republican once again? Really? And yet, not one has even talked about a law changing the gun limit, which again I'll mention to you, over 70% of gun owners want to see it happen. It's not like they're promising you, the Republicans, it's not like they're telling you, yeah, we are going to vote on that. We we have a change of heart. We're going to do it. I could see people maybe still voting for them because you've been told that they're going to change it. But even if they told you that now, can they really be trusted? They lie so much. They can't even accept a defeat at the ballot box. It's always, we got cheated. People voted more than once. People who shouldn't have voted, voted. Let me remind those idiots, those people that can't vote, they respect and love this country enough not to disrespect it by voting illegally. I'll say it again to these pendejos that keep making up excuses about how they're being cheated. Nobody that cannot vote is voting. That is a lie, what these people are telling you. Do not listen to them. They do not know how to win elections. How do you win an election? I would start by telling you about what I'm about to do for your community, how I will fight for you, for your children. If I were a politician, I would try to win your trust. I would begin with that. I would give you the respect to tell you the truth. Something these people lost somewhere along the way. I don't even see how it's possible. Some of these guys are old as hell, and they sit there and lie. What is it? They're more than halfway out. They're probably a few years away from retirement or whatever the hell. How can they sit there and lie? How can they sit there and watch these kids keep dying? But they do. They just keep going. I wonder if they would do the same if that happened to one of their kids. A grandkid. I don't wish it upon nobody. Don't get me wrong. But does anybody dare get in those shoes for a minute, in a parent's shoes, the pain that they're feeling when they lose a kid? Or is it all just about our thoughts and prayers are with you? Because we're past that. America needs your votes. It's got to be done, people. Do it for your kids. Even if you don't have kids, do it for your country, for its people, for the kids, our future. Don't just side with a party. It's not about that. That party's no good. It's corrupt. If it's a kitchen and you got rotten food in your fridge and anything else, you get rid of it. You toss it out, clean it out, and start over again. Resupply. Well, guess what? The Republican Party, in my opinion, needs a heavy dose of cleaning and resupplying. You need newly energized, honest people campaigning on behalf of that party, something you're far from right now, and they know it. They won't even accept if they lose this election. They won't accept it. The corruption of lies, the taste of power has got them. And for some reason, they have their stupid followers who believe them. I have another thought on that, but I'm not going to get into it because this isn't about that right now. It's about the kids, the weapons of war. That needs to stop. Your vote can stop them. That's all you got to do. Show up to the ballot box and cast your votes. Go blue. If you've been red all along, just take a deep breath and hit those check boxes, whatever it is you do. All blue down the line. Democrat. Or, in certain cases, if the independent is already in office and that's your state, then hit the independent. Do not make a mistake. These people cannot be trusted. How many more times are you going to trust them? How many more thoughts and prayers? How many more times is one going to turn the other cheek when they vote Republican, knowing damn well it's going to happen again? We're not stupid. Come on, people. Let's wake up. America needs us wide awake. What's going to happen? Are you going to fall in line with the thoughts and prayers? Are you going to try to forget about it over a drink of wine? No. We don't even want to go there. Let's not give them another chance. They don't deserve it. Our kids deserve better. Your kids deserve better. America's kids deserve much better than to be gunned down. What is that feeling like for a parent? I don't know that feeling. When the doctors told me my daughter had a brain tumor and we had 6 months more or less, they told us, take her home, give her all the love you can. And that's exactly what we did. We had the opportunity every day to be by her side, day and night. People were helping us. People were fundraising, pitching in so we could pay our bills, so that we could be home with my little Sophie. And we did. We would read books to her, watch cartoons with her. But some of you parents didn't get that chance. You sent your kid to school, and that kid never came back. And for the adults, they went to work, and they never came home. That is on the Republican Party. I don't care who says what. They're the ones who will not cast a vote in favor of changing any laws. At least make it more difficult for somebody to buy one of those weapons. If they're able to buy it at 18, change the age limit, raise it to 21. Maybe that thought process will change in 3 years. Maybe that kid, that 18-year-old who went out and bought the gun, 3 years later, maybe he's not thinking about buying a gun and killing people with it. Wishful thinking, yes, but it could happen. I always like to look at the glass half full. Never half empty, half full. But if you're hoping for the Republican Party to step up and make the right changes, then yeah, it's half empty, or all the way empty in this case. You need to vote them out. Big time. Get them out of there. Fire them. They've had more than their share. Pick your issue with them. What issue do you want to vote against them? They've given you plenty of reasons. You got Roe v. Wade. You got the gun issue. Hell, they didn't even help President Biden vote on anything good. The infrastructure, they all voted no for all that money that was going to be spent back in the United States to make this a better country, a better place to live in, better neighborhoods, better roads, bridges, everything. They all voted no. Like President Biden says, Google it. Ain't nobody lying to you here. I don't want to sound like a Republican Party hater, but let's call the truth what it is. They're not going to change their minds on these laws. Remember, they got the thoughts and prayer deal down packed. That's their ticket out. Oh, our thoughts and prayers are with you. That's not what I want to hear if I just lost a kid. And even if I didn't lose a kid, I'm tired of hearing how other people are losing their kids. Because these Republicans will not cast the votes. When is enough for some of you? Get yourself to the voting poll. Take somebody with you. And cast your votes. That's how this happens. Make the change. You will feel better. Now, the issue's not going to be resolved overnight. Once you vote, once you cast your votes, and let's say the Democrats gain a majority in the Senate, hopefully a supermajority, so real changes can take place. You know, that would be 2/3, 67 out of 100 seats. With all these issues on the table, I don't see how that's not doable. Why wouldn't it be? There's too many issues on the table. They lie. They have no morals. They have no integrity. Jesus, where's their values? Where are your values? Look in the mirror and ask yourself what your values are. Look at your kids if you have any. Look at your grandkids if you have any. Can you live with yourself if this happened to them? Especially if you cast your vote for a Republican and they change no laws. Can you live with yourself? It's a fair question, because now we're bringing that home. On big decisions, we must always think of others. How would you feel if that was your little kid you put on the school bus or you drove them to school, only to get that phone call or that news clip that the school is under siege, it's under attack by a shooter, and then you get the bad news and you get the follow-up thoughts and prayers by a Republican, more than likely, if they even dare show their face. You can stop them. And hopefully no other shooting ever happens again. But if it did, and you voted against Republicans, your hands are clean. Because you did your job at the ballot box. Now it's only a matter of time before this vote starts kicking in. Because let's not close our eyes to the problem. There are already enough weapons out there to do a ton of damage. if those weapons are in the wrong hands. What this vote would mean is that no new dangers, no new weapons fall into dangerous hands. To a minor, an 18-year-old, a kid. They don't like to be called kids, but come on, who are we kidding? They're still youngsters. So it'll take a while for the changes to really start showing. It's not going to happen overnight. When you plant the seed, it's not going to grow overnight. It's going to take time. You got to give it time. People criticize our government now. Oh, president hasn't done this, he hasn't done that. He's done plenty, considering he's got a real tight voting deal here because of Manchin and Sinema. The final votes in the Senate, they try to play politics. It always comes down to those two. Everyone else knows what's best for the country, and they cast their votes in, starting with the House. So when people criticize, oh, the government hasn't done anything, no. Be honest with yourselves. It's not the government, it's the Republican Party. That's who. Don't blame them all equal, because it's not all equal. One side is doing their job and the other is not. I have a clip here that I would like to play for you, and I will close with a final comment after the clip. So I want to thank you for hanging in here and watching this video. And I'm doing it because I feel it's very important. There's nothing more important to me than the love of country and the love of all the kids that live in this country and around the world, to be honest. It's not just about our kids. We wish all the kids around the world the very best. But right now, we're talking about our kids here in the country. Who wouldn't want to keep them safe? Enough of the thoughts and prayers. Watch this clip and watch the sadness in what I consider one of the best presidents the United States of America has ever had. Watch this video.
This afternoon, I spoke with Governor Malloy and FBI Director Mueller. I offered Governor Malloy my condolences on behalf of the nation and made it clear he will have every single resource that he needs to investigate this heinous crime, care for the victims, counsel their families. We've endured too many of these tragedies in the past few years, and each time I learn the news, I react not as a president, but as anybody else would, as a parent. And that was especially true today. I know there's not a parent in America who doesn't feel the same overwhelming grief that I do. The majority of those who died today were children. Beautiful little kids between the ages of 5 and 10 years old. They had their entire lives ahead of them. Birthdays, graduations, weddings, kids of their own. Among the fallen were also teachers, men and women who devoted their lives to helping our children fulfill their dreams. So our hearts are broken today for the parents and grandparents, sisters and brothers of these little children, and for the families of the adults who were lost. Our hearts are broken for the parents of the survivors as well. For as blessed as they are to have their children home tonight, they know that their children's innocence has been torn away from them too early, and there are no words that will ease their pain. As a country, we have been through this too many times. Whether it's an elementary school in Newtown, or a shopping mall in Oregon, or a temple in Wisconsin, or a movie theater in Aurora, or a street corner in Chicago, these neighborhoods are our neighborhoods, and these children are our children. And we're going to have to come together and take meaningful action to prevent more tragedies like this, regardless of the politics. This evening, Michelle and I will do what I know every parent in America will do, which is hug our children a little tighter, and we'll tell them that we love them, and we'll remind each other how deeply we love one another. But there are families in Connecticut who cannot do that tonight, and they need all of us right now. In the hard days to come, that community needs us to be at our best as Americans, and I will do everything in my power as president to help. Because while nothing can fill the space of a lost child or loved one, all of us can extend a hand to those in need, to remind them that we are there for them, that we are praying for them, that the love they felt for those they lost endures not just in their memories, but also in ours. May God bless the memory of the victims. And in the words of Scripture, heal the brokenhearted and bind up their wounds.
And there you go, America. Did you see the sadness in our president's face? That came from his heart. He's an original. He meant what he said. But you need to get out there and cast your vote. You really do. I will see you on the next video, the next clip. I'll put a different one together. Maybe something to do with Roe v. Wade. Remember, the Republican Party is the party of pro-life. Remind them of that when you cast your vote. Remind them how they haven't been too pro-life when it comes to your kids, to the children that are already here. Send them a reminder along with a last paycheck, or I don't know how they do it when they get dismissed after you vote them out. Do they get a 2-week paycheck, or is that how it works? You need to fire them. They got to go. They've had more than enough chances. They don't deserve another one. One more kid's life is one too many. Don't do it. You don't want that blood on your hands. Believe me, you don't want that blood on your hand. You're going to feel bad because now you know. Now you know that that vote for them is allowing them to stay in power, and therefore they'll never change the laws. What chances do the kids have? Especially when the cops that are there at school to protect them don't do anything for over an hour while kids are being massacred. Remind you of something? Maybe back there in Uvalde, May 2022? Isn't that what happened? There were plenty of cops in there, right? The truth is slowly coming out, right? They wouldn't stop it themselves, but they wouldn't let a parent go in there and get involved. Think about that. You get to the school, there's cops there, you feel like, oh my God, yeah, my kid's going to be okay. Cops are here. Nope. They're standing around. waiting for orders or something. Doesn't it get to a point where kids are getting shot? It's like, the hell with orders. I'm getting in there. I'm getting in there. To protect and to serve, no? Isn't that what it says on the most police cars' doors? To protect and to serve, or serve and protect. Right? Serve what and protect what? The donut shops? Because they weren't protecting the kids that day. What are they? Standing around. A cowardly move. All you Hudas that were out there and didn't get involved? You got no shame. What the hell was that? I'd lose my job before I let a kid die. Oh, we're waiting on shields. You know what? That kid's dying. The hell with the shield. Get in there. You got a gun. And there were how many of you standing around? More than one, right? I'm assuming. Maybe I'm wrong. If I am, hey, I'll apologize. If I'm wrong, hopefully you accept my apology. But if I'm not wrong, call yourself a cop? Nah. People, vote these Republicans out of there. Get them out, send them home, send them packing away from Washington. Do not send them back to Washington. Do not let them represent you. They do not hold their values. Your values. Their values might lay somewhere else. Maybe in their campaign donations. Their values are somewhere other than doing the right thing for the country. They won't help a Democrat with a single vote, even though they're asking for money on the Build Back Better. Right? President Biden talks about that. Google it. Look at President Biden's interviews. They're all on YouTube. He'll tell you. On his speeches, he mentions it all the time. He's not a liar, unlike the other guy, 45. I wouldn't believe that guy. Not a single word. And it seems like the rest of the Republicans picked up where he left off, and they're running with the lies. Now they're stooping as low as making fun of the Pelosi situation with her husband. Are those your values? You're about to vote. Are those your values? Do these people making fun of what happened to Mrs. Pelosi's husband, are you okay with what they're doing? Other conspiracy theories and this and that. Are you okay with that? Well, then check your values. I'm not okay with it. Who the hell makes fun of a person that got beat up with a hammer? I just hope that when this idiot's doing time, he comes across some the right people when he's locked up. He will. You know, they're brave when they're picking on the older, on the weaker, but they're not so brave when they're met up with somebody that can hold their own. They're not so brave. Get to the ballot box. America needs your vote. Check your morals. Check your integrity. Go back and look at the first video I posted, the national anthem. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. You don't have to watch the whole thing. I think it's pretty lengthy, just like this one. But you know what? I don't mind it. I don't mind standing here because this is the one vote. And that's the very least I could do for this beautiful country. Try to make sure that it stays in good hands and good government. And right now, the Republican Party is not good government. They're bad. It's the party of lies. It's the party of no shame. It seems like they're the party of racism. Look at who they're siding up with. Right? QAnon, conspiracies. That's who they've become. So, thank you for watching this video. And don't forget, if you need to rewind this and go back and look at those beautiful kids, then do that. Because keep them in mind when you go vote. Don't think about yourself. Don't think about your party. Think about the kids. Don't be fooled. One of the reasons we hadn't had any more shootings, no kids were attending school. COVID. A lot of schools were shut down. A lot of workplaces were shut down. So there was very little opportunities for people to snap and go and commit their massacres, let their anger on the innocent. There was no opportunity for that. Most of us were home with our kids. That's why you hadn't heard of any killings, I believe. Because once COVID got lifted, look what happens. Don't fool yourself. This isn't over. Get out there and vote. Make it happen. Be strong. Don't be intimidated at the voting boxes. You see these fools hanging around with their little vests. They're playing G.I. Joe. The hell with those idiots. They can't touch you. And they know they can't. You know what they are? They're failed bullies. That's what they are. They think they're going to intimidate people because they're wearing their little vest and maybe they got a piece with them. If that makes them feel more like a man, so be it. I don't need a piece to feel like a man. Like I've said before, if I'm out there and a person needs my help, maybe they're being beat up by some of these goons, I'll gladly help. I'll show them what a real man does. We'll whoop that ass. That's what we'll do. It's no problem. I don't care if they like it or not. I'm not hiding from anybody. I ain't Superman, but I ain't scared either. Bring it. That's what I tell you. Insurrectionist bastards. Get out there and vote before I start on another rant here. I feel my anger rising. I don't want to be angry. I want you to vote blue, and when we get our people in there and America starts heading down the right path, I want to see everybody smiling. I want to see everybody's kids safe in their schools. Thank you for watching this long video. If you like it, recommend it to a friend. And undecided, somebody who hasn't voted yet and they're not sure which way they're going to vote, show them this. Thank you for watching this. Let's all of us do our part. Remember, America needs us. Go back and watch that first video and you'll see what I mean. Thank you. Chief, out. Have a great day. Stay safe.